All right, let's bring you the news. The front page is the stories on the front page of newspaper headlines right now, and we will begin with the Voice of Liberty. The major story here says Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal, Supreme Court Justice Datijo bows out ahead of Atiku Obi appeal cases on Tinubu. Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal, Supreme Court Justice Datijo bows out ahead of Atiku Obi appeal cases on Tinubu. And it shows that there's been a reduction in the number of justices slated to oversee the cases of Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi suit against the election victory of President Bola Tinubu to 10 following Justice Musa Datijo Mohammed's retirement. And then another story here, politics is the only thing thriving, is the only thriving industry in Nigeria. Afe Babalola is speaking. Politics is the only thriving industry in Nigeria. Afe Babalola is speaking. Serap urges court Tinubu to stop lawmakers from receiving 360 SUVs. This matter has stirred up conversation across the social media in the past weeks with regards to the SUVs that lawmakers will be receiving. And Serap, the Social Rights and Accountability Project, is asking or urging the courts to stop lawmakers from receiving 360 SUVs. Now, Soludo, as the governor of Anambra, is giving reasons why Abgas Ejogu will win. Shatima arrives US to partake in food security dialogue. This is the conversation we had earlier before we picked up the papers this morning. And then Nigeria's youth are global assets. US official is saying this. Another story at the top corner here. Kogi Governor Bello allegedly escapes 3 attempted attacks, but he has come out to refute this story. Recall that his Commissioner for Information, Kingsley Fanwu, had said that the governor on his way to Abuja from Lokoja was attacked. There was an assassination attempt on his life, but the governor has said that it was just a matter of misunderstanding between his security detail and a sister agency while he was en route Abuja from Lokoja, and that matter was sorted amicably. And then we have this story talking about the $11 billion PNID versus Nigeria suit. UK court sets today as judgment date. The PNID versus Nigeria suit, UK court sets the judgment date as today. Recall this matter has been on since 2017. The London court had taken up this case, and the PNID, talking about processes and industrial development case where they entered an agreement with Nigeria in 2010 to build a gas processing plant in Calabar, Cross River State, but the company said the deal collapsed because the Nigerian government did not fulfill its end of the bargain, and claiming that Nigeria breached the terms of contract. And so they took a legal recourse and secured an arbitral award against the country. So we'll be looking forward to what the judgment will be like later today. We'll move now to the First News newspaper. The major story here, presidential poll appeals, legal fireworks begin today at Supreme Court. Presidential poll appeals, legal fireworks begin today at Supreme Court. And then we have another story at the top corner. Kogi governor escapes assassination as unknown soldiers attack convoy. And we told you that that report has been refuted by the governor, where he said it was just a matter of a misunderstanding between his security detail and a sister agency, which was resolved. Another story at the top corner, Supreme Court justices depleted to 10 as Datijo retires. Federal government, Benue government seek collaboration with communities to resettle IDPs. NDIC to pay liquidated banks, creditors, depositors, 1.6 billion naira soon. The managing director is speaking. Wike Pandef Lambest Gumi says any Nigerian can be FCT minister. Pandef Lambest Gumi says any Nigerian can be FCT minister. And at the down corner here, Boko Haram attacks customs house in Yobe, kill officer. An unfortunate incident there. Borno bans street begging, loitering. EU to invest 5.4 million euros on teachers training in Nigeria. And farmers killings, Igboho gives herders 7-day ultimatum to vacate Southwest. To the Daily Times now, and the major story here, Atiku Obi will not be declared president today. Atiku Obi will not be declared president today, lawyers tell Nigerians. Neither will Tinubu be sacked today. Supreme Court will first run normal processes. They say, let verdict help not end democracy. Barrister Mwagwa is speaking, expectations high nationwide. Call that the Presidential Elections Petitions Tribunal will resume sitting at the Supreme Court today, and there's so much being said about that sitting today, but it has been said that it is just the beginning of the processes and not the final judgment to be declared today. All right, another story here at the down corner. Wike reacts to Gumi, others. Only president determines relationship with countries. All right, he is speaking with regards to the reaction to the visit of the Israeli representative that came to visit him, and Sheikh Gumi reacted, calling him unprintable names, so to speak, and the minister of the FCT is reacting to statements coming out of the Sheikh's statement. Now, Nigeria Customs repel attack on facility. Nigeria Customs repels attack on facility. FBI files on Tinubu's will cause Nigeria great embarrassment. FBI files on Tinubu will cause Nigeria great embarrassment. And another story at the top corner. Crisis rocks Air Transport Employees Union over doctored constitution. This is an investigation I believe a majority of persons would want to read. To the Nigerian News Direct now. Alleged forgeries. FBI, other U.S. anti-crime agencies to release Tinubu's hidden records. Atiku is speaking. As tension rises over Monday's ruling of Supreme Court, PDP boasts of victory at Supreme Court. And the story at the down corner here, 57.6 billion naira SUV purchase. Serap files suit to halt lawmakers. Ogun taps other states in IGR generation. A report is saying this. Contractors the fireworks. Minister ordered to return to site. A businessman arrested at Abuja airport with 2.2 kilogram of heroin hidden in stomach. At the top corner, we have Ekiti 2026 ex-governors endorse Oyebanji for second term. UBA MD Access Bank MD others bag an honorary fellowship. Yahaya Bello escapes assassination in Abuja, but we told you earlier that he has refuted the claims, saying it was just a misunderstanding between his security detail and a sister agency, which was amicably addressed. We move now to the West newspaper. The major story here, vacate Southwest now. Igboho gives fresh 7-day ultimatum to killer headsmen, writes police. All right, earning effects from the thriving charcoal business in Ibarakba. Another story here, Remo Stars sinks Sporting Lagos as Canopilas humble Sunshine Stars. 3 men caught with human head, other parts in Ibadan. Third Mainland Bridge reopens to traffic after some palliative repairs. And we require 70 billion naira to overhaul Oyo education sector, Makinde speaking. At the top corner, aftermath communal clashes, Lobu Ifon plead with a delegate to help restore electricity. And another story, day Lagos pull down luxury homes built on drainages. Atiku to Tinubu stop chasing shadows, address forgery allegation. And then a story here says Ogun targets 200 housing units before the end of 2023. All right. To the Daily Trust now, the major story, domestic foreign airlines disagree on multiple designations. And And some writers are businesses at risk. Indigenous carriers, go and build your capacity. Foreign airlines are reacting. What bilateral air service agreement says. And some stories here. Birningwari villagers raised the alarm over Ansaru militants' presence. Kanu did say Emir seek government support for farmers. Ordering contractors back to site without payment wrong. Human Rights Watch is telling the federal government. All right. Another story here, Pandora's box, evidence of how Bello Matawalle blew billions in cargo airport, Zamfara government is saying. All the details on the front page of the Daily Trust. The national economy, Nigeria's auto policy, much talk lead to action. Foreign investors shy away from Nigeria. And the downstrip, when a fintech startup dies, what dies in you? That's the big question. Unlocking Africa's economic prosperity through local content implementation. Nigeria's collective drive to redefine crude production standards. These are some of the stories you find on the front page of the national economy. And to the leadership newspaper. This story here says 3 months after student loan scheme yet to take off. 3 months after student loan scheme yet to take off. Recall the president had put in place a student loan scheme to help students whose parents cannot afford the school fees, so to speak. And it is being reported here that 3 months after student loan scheme is yet to take off. And the federal government, if you look at the infographics here, it says federal government taking another look at the law as September-October deadline expires. No sign of education bank. Application portal still not open. Students are reacting. Under the scheme, eligible applicants will receive up to 500,000 naira or $650 per academic session. Recall that this loan scheme had raised some questions and concern when persons read through, a majority of Nigerians read through the requirements as put together by the federal government. And so, as it is being reported here, that perhaps the federal government is taking another look at the law. Another story here, despite subsidy removal, oil revenue drops by 1.01 trillion naira in July. And anxiety, a Supreme Court rules on Atiku's motion today. All right, the sitting begins, or the process is open today. The judgment is not today, as we have told you earlier. Israel issues fresh Gaza evacuation warning. There's no assassination attempt on me, says Governor Bello. 5 burnt to ashes in fuel tanker accident in Kwara. A sad one there. Enrollment drops in Unity schools over high fees. And another story here, Pandora's box, evidence of how Bello Matawalle blew billions in cargo airports. Zamfara government is speaking. All right, that's so much with me, Kemi.
On the Nation newspaper, the big story is captioned Edo, that's the Minister of Finance, Minister for Finance, that is, and the coordinating minister for the economy. He's quoted as saying that President Tinubu's homegrown plan is good to revive economy and that there is no likelihood of Nigeria seeking international assistance on debt restructuring. The minister there, Kunle Edo, speaking. Other stories on the front page of the Nation is emergency economic bill, targets tax reform, job creation. And the picture story there is captioned Caught in the Act. And that's the story of a Paris-bound businessman who was found to have excreted 93 wraps of heroin while in the detention of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA. Now, this formed part of the arrests that the officers of the agency recorded in the just ended week. More stories there. Fake Nadeco plots by anti-Tinubu campaign. This is an allegation raised by the U.S. body of the All Progressives Congress. And Lagos halts illegal land reclamation in Ikoyi as well as Lekki. And federal road contractors are giving reasons as to why they cannot return to sites. In the meantime, a sad report there of the deaths of 5 persons and many others sustaining injury in Kwara petrol truck accidents. All these and more on The Nation. Blueprint is next. Syrup to court. Stop lawmakers from taking delivery of 57.6 billion naira SUVs for 360 lawmakers at the National Assembly. Troops neutralize 37 terrorists, arrest 95 persons. And the big story there, Israeli envoys visit to FCT Minister Yesom Wike with Northern elders, disowning Sheikh Ahmed Gumi, says his views, not theirs. While Pandef, the Middle Belt Forum, caution cleric, that's cleric Gumi, not to undermine nations' diversities. Now, Wike is also quoted as saying, I don't determine relations between countries. 2 dead, others injured in Niger boat mishap. Ahead of the November 11th poll now, there are allegations attributed to the quarters of the Kogi government that elements in the political space may want to cause mayhem. Just before we go, just before we are done with the blueprint, Enugu Nasarawa election petitions presented similar facts, different judgments. That's according to the Labour Party, and the full text to get more context about this will be in the blueprint. Over now to this Nigeria. Nigerians demand probe of alleged 2.9 trillion naira diversion under Buhari government, urging President Tinubu to direct the new AFCC chairman, Ola Olukoyede, to swing into action and bring the culprits to book. Legal fireworks are set to shift to the Supreme Court today as Atiku Obi and Tinubu commence what has been called an epic battle. Gumi on the fire over attack on FCT Minister, Wike, Ohaneze, MBF, and other socio-political groups tag Islamic cleric as a confusionist. On Serap is urging the court in a latest lawsuit to stop the delivery of 57.6 billion naira worth of SUVs to members of the House of Representatives. On Business Day now, big story is captioned, Forex crisis. Time is running out fast for Tinubu, faster for Nigeria. Economists say it's time to call IMF and a crude heist dent sale of oil assets, with investors, leading business people and analysts are set to be urging the federal government to negotiate a standby support program with the International Monetary Fund as a way out of the worsening foreign exchange crisis following the president's deep market reforms. And there's a story on the front page of the Business Day on how the 2007 Public Procurement Act failed. Details are there in the Business Day, that is. Now, interest on CBN loans almost 3 times budget target. That's another report you might want to check out on. All right, that's it on Business Day. On The Guardian, the big story there is captioned at 1,200 naira to the dollar and 985 naira per litre fuel spike. These are all squeezing air travel as well as pricing. And there is, some further depictions through pictorial images. There are some depictions there of just how worrisome the situation is in the aviation sector. That is, among them, some of the major problems or challenges there: airline trapped funds. Aviation fuel for airline trapped funds is amounting to $793 million. Aviation fuel, Jet A1 that is set to be 985 naira to the per litre. Exchange rate 1,200 to the dollar. The IATA rate, as well as the average domestic flight, which is ranging between 100,000 to 130,000 naira per flight. On NSAS, Falano asks minister to review plan on 500 million naira fine for convicts. Rethink palliative, step up productive engagement. Coalition resorts to protest lawsuits to stop purchase of 57 billion naira SUVs for lawmakers. On the Nigerian Tribune now, exchange rate industries battle for survival as Nigerians suffer losses. Manufacturers pay up to 30 different taxes, levies annually. The Manufacturers Association laments petrol pump price hit 630 naira to the litre in Abuja, and more filling stations are set to shut down. Contractors oppose FG's order to return to site without payment review. And on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Ogun State government gives traders at Kara and other road setbacks 21 days to quit. On the Punch now, FG plans 26 trillion naira borrowing, 29 trillion naira for debt servicing, with debt servicing to exceed capital budget spending by 7.69 trillion naira amid slow economy and high debt servicing costs, creating potential fiscal risk. That's according to government. Friends mourn Nigeria medical student who was allegedly killed in the Philippines. And on the Israel-Hamas war, President Joe Biden of the U.S., the Pope, as well as protesters are all there calling for a ceasefire. Finally is Nature News. Green surcharge. FG targets 2.6 trillion naira revenue from taxes on imported vehicles. Lagos government allays fears over threat of flooding. And Nigeria to woo investors at AFDB World Food Prize in the U.S.
I believe that's much we can take on the papers this morning. So much to capture in the papers in terms of stories to read. So you can pick up any of the papers to look for any of the stories that interest you.